Welcome to our channel, where we explore the darkest stories that have left a mark on history. Today, we're taking you back to 1940s England. This is the story of a man who used his intelligence and manipulative skills to orchestrate gruesome murders. John George Hay. His horrifying crimes and the unusual methods he employed shocked an entire nation. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. Hay's meticulous and cold-blooded plans were not just about committing murder. They were about perfecting his crimes with the precision of a scientist. John George Hay was born on July 24, 1909, in Stamford, Lincolnshire, England. He was the only child of a devoutly religious family belonging to the Plymouth Brethren, a strict sect that imposed rigid rules on daily life. Hay's father instilled in him the belief that the world was a sinful place. Their home was marked with symbolic crosses on the walls, designed to ward off the evil of the outside world. Isolated from normal social interactions, young John's upbringing deeply shaped his personality. As Hay grew into his teenage years, he began to rebel against these strict rules. Despite his oppressive environment, his intelligence and musical talent did not go unnoticed. He excelled at playing the piano, a skill that brought him fleeting recognition. However, the oppressive religious dogma of his upbringing hindered him from forming healthy social relationships, creating the psychological foundation for the violent path he would later take. Hay's youth was marked by introversion and a vivid imagination. Growing up in an environment where every action seemed fraught with judgment and every interaction tinged with fear left him feeling isolated. This sense of alienation would later manifest in his violent tendencies. Hay's descent into crime was fueled by his desire for a lavish lifestyle. In his 20s, he began engaging in petty frauds. By forging documents, he orchestrated fraudulent car sales and deceived victims for financial gain. However, his schemes were soon exposed, leading to a prison sentence. During his time in prison, Hay refined his criminal strategies. He studied human behavior and manipulation, learning how to present himself as a lawyer or a wealthy businessman to deceive others. Upon his release, Hay resolved to commit crimes not just for monetary gain, but to leave a legacy of infamy. One formative incident in Hay's life occurred in childhood when he accidentally ingested blood during a minor accident. This traumatic experience sparked a lifelong fascination with the idea that blood held some kind of purifying or cleansing power. This obsession later gave a ritualistic dimension to his murders. In 1944, Hay crossed paths with William McSwan, a wealthy businessman who had invested in Hay's fraudulent schemes. When McSwan began demanding his money back, Hay saw him as a threat. This marked the beginning of his murderous spree. He lured McSwan to a warehouse under false pretenses. Hay killed McSwan by striking him over the head with a blunt object, but this was only the beginning. His plan to dispose of the body would later earn him the nickname the Acid Bath Murderer. He placed McSwan's body into a large metal drum and poured sulfuric acid over it. Within hours, the body dissolved into a gelatinous liquid. Hay then disposed of the remains by pouring them into a nearby drain. Hay spun a tale to McSwan's parents, claiming their son had fled the country to avoid military service. He later invited McSwan's elderly parents to his warehouse and murdered them in the same gruesome manner, dissolving their bodies in acid. By doing so, he took control of their assets, living a life of luxury. One of his later victims was Olive Duran Deacon, a wealthy widow. Hay convinced her to meet him to discuss a business proposal. Once again, he lured his victim to the warehouse, murdered her, and disposed of her body using his acid method. However, Olive's disappearance drew police attention, ultimately leading to Hay's downfall. When Hay was finally apprehended, he shockingly confessed to his crimes with chilling composure. He believed that without physical bodies, he could not be charged with murder, misunderstanding a legal principle he thought would protect him. However, forensic evidence and his confessions were enough to secure a conviction. John George Hay was sentenced to death in 1949. His intelligence, methodical approach, and utter lack of remorse ensured his place in criminal history as the Acid Bath Murderer. His story serves as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity and the psychological complexities behind violent crimes.